Okay, so this is part 3 of the lesson, and you just finished watching the grammar lesson for tag questions. Sometimes we say question tags. So a question tag turns a statement into a question, and like you watched, tag questions confirm what you think is true or not true. If the statement is affirmative or positive, we use a negative tag. And if the statement is negative, then we use a positive or affirmative tag. Okay, so it's pretty simple. Just you like to dance, don't you? Okay, so like is affirmative, do not is negative, and then here, you don't like to dance, do you? Okay, so the tag is positive or affirmative, and the statement is negative. And sometimes, depending on the situation, the sentence goes up or down. If you are pretty sure, we usually go down. Like, you like to dance, don't you? Okay. But when you're not totally sure, you think you might have heard it before, or you're not quite sure, you might say, you like to dance, don't you? Okay. Or if you are in disbelief, like, oh, I thought you liked to dance, but maybe you don't. So you might say, you like to dance, don't you? So it depends on the situation. But again, sometimes you go down and sometimes you go up. And you mostly go down when you are pretty certain. Okay? And just keep in mind when to use the do verb and when to use the be verb. Okay? So like or go, these are do verbs or action verbs. So of course we need to also use the do verb. Don't you, did you, didn't you, and then of course if there's a be verb like you are or she is, then of course you need to use a form of the be verb. So just keep those in mind, and otherwise these tag questions should be pretty easy. Okay, so let's just take a look at the example conversation. Ivan, you don't like chocolate, do you? So it sounds like this person is not very sure, so that's why I went up. And as you can see, Ivan actually does like chocolate, because he says, actually I do. I like chocolate. Okay. And then Fabiana, you don't like chocolate, do you? No, I don't. Okay, so again, this would be an activity that we could do with our classmates, but since we are not in class, you can just practice making some tag questions with each of these statements. So you can just use you. So you don't like chocolate, do you? Okay, so you can do that for the rest of these. And I also want you to practice not just you, but also he or she. Okay, so that lets us practice the different verb forms. So go ahead and pause the video and make question tags with each of these. First using you, and then using he or she. Okay, so you can pause the video and continue when you're finished. Okay, so let's look at the second one. You ate at a restaurant last night, didn't you? Okay. And as you can see, last night and ate are past tense, so we have to say, didn't you? Okay. And if we use he or she, we can say, he ate at a restaurant last night, didn't he? Okay. And then, actually, let's go back to the first one. This one is he or she, because it says doesn't. So he doesn't like chocolate, does he? Or she doesn't like chocolate, does she? Okay, and of course if you use you, you can say, you don't like chocolate, do you? just like the practice conversation. So let's go back to the chart and look at the third one. You aren't tired today, are you? Or we could say, he isn't tired today, is he? Okay, you didn't go on vacation last month, did you? Okay, so since this statement is negative, we have to use an affirmative tag, did you? So, you didn't go on vacation last month, did you? Or we can say, she didn't go on vacation last month, did she? And then, you are good at math, aren't you? So since this is affirmative, we have to use the negative aren't you. So, you're good at math, aren't you? Or, he's good at math, isn't he? Okay, and then, you didn't study last night, did you? Or, he didn't study last night, did he? Okay. You have a birthday in June, don't you? Or, she has a birthday in June, doesn't she? Okay, so, pretty easy, pretty straightforward. But we're going to go ahead and move on to our review. Okay, so this review is for units 9 and 10. Okay, so open your student's book to page 134. Page 134. Okay, so we're going to listen to the audio clip first. Let me make it one page one more time. And I want you to take notes, of course, and also complete this chart. Okay, things that bring good luck and things that bring bad luck. All right, here we go.
Review. Units 9 and 10. Page 134. Exercise 1.
This is Grace Leong for KPFX News. I'm standing on the busy corner of Pacific Avenue and Grant Avenue in San Francisco's Chinatown. Tomorrow is the beginning of Chinese New Year, and with me I have two people who can give us some interesting information related to good luck in the coming year. Could you tell us your name, please?
Angela Kwan.
Angela, what are some things we can do to bring good luck?
Well, it's traditional to wear bright colors such as red. Red is a very bright and happy color, so it symbolizes a bright and happy future. Another thing is, at midnight on New Year's Eve, you should open all the doors and windows of your house. That's to let the old year out and make room for the new. And on New Year's Day, one good thing to do is to eat a lot of candy. If you do that, the new year will be very sweet.
Very interesting, Angela. I think I'll go shopping for a new red dress, and I'm definitely looking forward to eating all that candy. And what's your name, sir?
Hi, my name's Martin Chan.
Martin, Angela told us some things that bring good luck. What are some things that we should not do on New Year's?
Well, you shouldn't sweep the house on New Year's Day because you might sweep away your family's good fortune. That's why people sweep the house very carefully before the start of the holiday. And it's bad luck to buy a pair of shoes because...
Not even red shoes?
No. The word for shoes sounds like the word for evil in Mandarin. So you don't want to buy shoes. And you shouldn't use knives or scissors on New Year's Day, because if you do, you might cut off your good fortune.
Thank you, Martin and Angela, and I hope you both have a very happy New Year.
Okay, so we are going to listen to it one more time. So as I mentioned, take other notes as well.
Review. Units 9 and 10. Page 134. Exercise 1.
This is Grace Leong for KPFX News. I'm standing on the busy corner of Pacific Avenue and Grant Avenue in San Francisco's Chinatown. Tomorrow is the beginning of Chinese New Year, and with me I have two people who can give us some interesting information related to good luck in the coming year. Could you tell us your name, please?
Angela Kwan.
Angela, what are some things we can do to bring good luck?
Well, It's traditional to wear bright colors such as red. Red is a very bright and happy color, so it symbolizes a bright and happy future. Another thing is, at midnight on New Year's Eve, you should open all the doors and windows of your house. That's to let the old year out and make room for the new. And on New Year's Day, one good thing to do is to eat a lot of candy. If you do that, the new year will be very sweet.
Very interesting, Angela. I think I'll go shopping for a new red dress, and I'm definitely looking forward to eating all that candy. And what's your name, sir?
Hi, my name's Martin Chan.
Martin, Angela told us some things that bring good luck. What are some things that we should not do on New Year's?
Well, you shouldn't sweep the house on New Year's Day because you might sweep away your family's good fortune. That's why people sweep the house very carefully before the start of the holiday. And it's bad luck to buy a pair of shoes because...
Not even red shoes?
No. The word for shoes sounds like the word for evil in Mandarin. So you don't want to buy shoes. And you shouldn't use knives or scissors on New Year's Day because if you do, you might cut off your good fortune.
Thank you, Martin and Angela. And I hope you both have a very happy New Year.
Okay, so let me ask some questions, okay? Who is talking? Who is talking? Okay, so you can say Grace Leong or you could say Grace Leong is talking to Angela Kwan and Martin Chen, okay? Or you could just say an interviewer is talking to people on the street in Chinatown. Okay? So either way is fine. You can be general or specific. So again, Grace Leong, or you could say a reporter, not an interviewer. A reporter is talking to people on the street in Chinatown. And which Chinatown is this? Do you know? Okay, so it is San Francisco's Chinatown, or you can say it is the Chinatown in San Francisco. And if you want to be more specific, or if you want to include where it is specifically, you can say it is at the corner of Pacific Avenue and Grant Avenue. Okay, Pacific Avenue and Grant Avenue. Have any of you been to Chinatown in San Francisco? I haven't, but I have been to the one in New York and in Chicago. Those are probably two of the most well-established Chinatowns in the United States. Okay, and then let's see. Let's take a look at the chart, actually. So, Angela talked about things that bring good luck, and Martin talked about things that bring bad luck. And why were they talking about these things? What is the reason? Or what's the occasion? Okay, so you could say, you could say the Chinese New Year is coming, or they are celebrating the Chinese New Year. Okay, so what are some things that bring good luck? Okay, so we can see the first one is to wear bright colors like red. Okay, and let me ask, what does this symbolize? What does it mean? What does it symbolize? Okay, and you might have written, it symbolizes a bright and happy future. Okay, it symbolizes a bright and happy future. Now, I'm going to ask what each of these things symbolizes. So if you haven't written that down yet, then I want you to go ahead and pause the video, and then you can continue when you're finished. Okay, Now, number 2, what is another thing that brings good luck? Okay, and you could write, open all the doors and windows of your house. Okay, or you could simplify that and just write, open all doors and windows of house. And what does that symbolize? You could say it symbolizes letting the old year out and making room for the new year. Okay? And then number 3, eat candy on New Year's Day. And this symbolizes, or this means that the new year will be very sweet. Okay? And if you remember, we read about the Iranian New Year celebration called Nowruz during our last lesson, and they also put sweet things on the table to represent a sweet New Year. Okay, and then what are some things that bring bad luck? So Martin said that sweeping the house on New Year's Day brings bad luck. Okay, so sweep the house, or don't sweep. Actually, since it says that bring bad luck, you don't have to say don't. You can just say sweeping the house on New Year's Day. And that symbolizes sweeping away good fortune. So you don't want to do that. And then number 5, buying a new pair of shoes. Buying a new pair of shoes. Okay? And that brings bad luck because the word for shoes in Mandarin sounds like the word for evil. Okay? So, as many of you know, in China, people mainly speak 2 languages. One is Mandarin and the other is Cantonese. So in Mandarin, the word for shoes sounds like the word for evil. So that's bad luck to buy shoes on New Year's Day. And then finally, number 6, using knives or scissors on New Year's Day. So that brings bad luck because you might cut off your good fortune. So as you know, knives and scissors cut. So symbolically, you might cut off good fortune. That's very interesting. And I'm sure there are many other customs and traditions for New Year's Day all over the world. Okay, now we're going to look at the story. Okay, a New Year's Eve celebration. So go ahead and take some time to finish or complete the story using the correct word, and also write questions based on the underlined answer. Okay, so you can pause the video and continue when you're finished. Okay, so let's look at the story. Sergei wishes his friend Olga could visit him in New York over the holidays. And when we say over, it means that during. Okay, but she can't get the time off. Therefore, they won't be together on New Year's Eve. If she were in New York, he would take her to Times Square because there is a big celebration there. Every year at 1 minute before midnight, a large crystal ball starts to drop slowly from high above the street. When it reaches the bottom, everybody goes crazy since it's the beginning of the new year. Sergei really hopes that Olga can come next year. So this is a possibility, so we use hopes. If she comes, she will have a great time. Okay, so let's look at the questions. Okay, the answer is Sergei would take Olga to Times Square if she were in New York. Okay, so we could ask, where would Sergei take Olga if she were in New York? And as I mentioned last time, you can use the if clause first. You can say, if Olga were in New York, where would Sergei take her? Okay, and then number 2, the crystal ball starts to drop at 1 minute before midnight. Okay, so we can say, what starts to drop at 1 minute before midnight? So in this case, this is a subject question, so you don't need a helping verb. So again, what starts to drop at 1 minute before midnight? And then number 3, Sergey hopes that Olga can come next year. Okay, so this is a when question. When does Sergey hope that Olga can come? When does Sergey hope that Olga can come? So this is a predicate question, so we have to use helping verb. So when does Sergey hope that Olga can come? Okay, now we are already at 20 minutes, but I want to just briefly mention this pronunciation activity. I will play the audio during our next lesson, but I just want to introduce this. So linking consonant vowel sounds. So when a word ends in a consonant sound and the next word begins with a vowel sound, the words sound like they are linked together. Actually, let me make this into one page. Okay, so move the final consonant sound of the first word to the beginning of the second word. So for example, smaller cars would use less energy. Okay, so when you read it slowly, you don't have to link it, but when you read it at a conversational pace, then it sounds like it's like one word. Okay, so instead of saying would use less energy, you would say would use less energy, okay, or would use less energy. So this is the final consonant sound of the first word, and this is the first vowel sound of the second word. So you can say would use or would use, okay? And then here, the consonant sound of the first word is less, the final consonant sound, and then the beginning sound of the second word is a vowel, E. So less energy. So se, less energy. Okay? As you can see, it links together, less energy. Okay? And sometimes there are multiple in a row, like smog is a. Instead of splitting it up like smog is a, say smog is a, smog is a, smog is a. Smog is a big environmental problem. Big environmental. As you can see, it links together. So just practice this, and then during our next lesson, we can look at it in more detail. Okay? So I am going to end our lesson here, and I will see you next time.